Just a small part of today's harvest. And that was yesterday's. I learned this trick watching some Ruth videos. They're British BBC TV, and they're a farming series, and it's they're called things like the Victorian Farm, the Tudor Monastery Farm. One of my favorite ones is called Full Steam Ahead, and that's where I learned this trick from. If you pick them just as they're starting to blush, the tomato plant thinks that it hasn't produced a fully ripe seeded tomato, so it'll pop out more flowers and you'll get more tomatoes. So you harvest them. This one, all of these were picked yesterday. I'm hoping that this wasn't too ripe and that the plant doesn't think now that it's done. But you grab them just as they're starting to blush. They've all got just the tiniest bit of blush on them. Tiniest. See? And then they'll ripen, you know. They've been brought to quote-unquote blushing, or, I mean, I've been doing this for a couple weeks now, and my husband says that he actually likes the tomatoes better when I pull them off the vine when they're just blushing and then let them ripen, because he says they're harder. They're not so soft and squishy as when you let them completely ripen on the vine. And he really likes that. And for canning, it's a better idea. And for freezing, it sounds even better to me to have them be more firm tomatoes when they come to ripe. I was just outside picking these. Same thing here. I pulled these just as they were starting to, these are yellow banana peppers. I pulled these just as they were starting. I had harvested a bunch of them like a week ago before these were ready, because these were tiny, itty bitty, teeny things. The one banana pepper plant I harvested a week ago, and now outside on the plant now I have a bunch of tiny ones because it produced new flowers then like 2 days later, and they all got pollinated a couple days after that, and they've spent the last few days becoming teeny tiny peppers. And so one lesson I learned from growing food this summer and from watching lots of different varieties of shows, I was even watching one on it was a travel channel special. It was about the basil fields in India. And I've been planting my basil plant wrong all these years. All of us Westerners have been planting our basil plants wrong all of these years. You don't break the seed out of that pod. No, you go along and you clip all along the top of the basil plant, and you plant the whole pod so that you're planting 3 or 4 seeds at a time. And upon watching, and they didn't even mention that in the video. All it was it was showing the beauties. It was like a musical adventure through all the different herbs that are growing all over, all the different basil plants that are growing all over India. And in one of the sweeping views, they were planting basil, and it showed them dropping the whole brown pods right into the little, planting holes. And that's when it hit me. Now I realize when I just dump a bunch of my holy basil seeds into a pot where they take off so well. And why basil seeds grow in pods the way they do. They're meant to. They're meant to be planted as whole pods right into the ground. So, just watching videos and watching not just quote-unquote homesteading or gardening channels. I mean, there's so much great information out there on them. I was watching documentaries that had nothing to do with actual practices of farming per se, but in the one, the beauty of farming, and in the other, the difficulties of farming before modern days. And I learned some really important stuff. So I took the tomato idea that I saw on Full Steam Ahead, and I applied it to my peppers, and my pepper plants out there are pooping out a bunch of little tiny baby peppers. Next time I walk out the door, I'll take you out there with me. I'm not going back outside right now. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I have to get kids on the bus, and most importantly, it's like 50 degrees out there and really, really cold. Alright, guys. This random clip for Random Clip Sunday all of a sudden turned into Mommiesaurus gabbing. So I'm going to make this its own video. Things I learned on random non-homesteading videos. Alright, guys. We'll see you in the next one. And remember, stay positive. Bye.